So today we are looking at the Wampler Plexi Drive Deluxe. It is a pedal which is meant to sound like a Marshall, also known as an amp in a box pedal, or this one more specifically a Marshall in a box pedal. So it's got a 3-band active EQ, which basically, if you don't know what that means it can turn your treble, bass and middle up or down, as opposed to just turning it up and then back to bass level again, which is actually what most EQs and tone controls are like on pedals. So this can actually cut as well as boost. There's also a couple of switches on there, a bass boost and a treble boost, depending on the clean amp you're going into or the amp you're going into. One of the cool things about this pedal also is that it has soft switches, which, as you may have guessed from the name, when you press the switches, they don't click, they're soft. So you step on it, no click, and your pedal is engaged. You may have noticed that I said switches, plural. Yeah, that's right, it also has a second switch, which is basically a boost, and it's the equivalent of plugging in a tube screamer into the front end of your Marshall, which is a very common practice among guitarists, among rock guitarists in particular. Something I particularly liked about the Wampler Plexi Drive Deluxe is that it sounded very amp-like. I used to have a period where I would A/B drive pedals with the distortion on my, with the gain channel on my amp, and most of the time I'd find that the amp distortion was nicer than the pedal distortion. Not necessarily in terms of sound, but just in the way it felt when you played it. So let's check out some sound samples. What do you think of this? There's a bunch of kids here. They're going to kidnap me and murder me or sacrifice me. I can't remember if I got this pedal or if I got the Dual Fusion pedal, which is also by Wampler. I got one of those first and had the same feeling. This sounds just as good as my amp distortion. I think the amp I had at the time was a Mesa Boogie Express Plus, the 50-watt one. But at the time I also had the SL drive, the exotic SL drive, which there's a review on that on my channel as well. You know, check up here. Is this what they do? Check up here to watch that review. It's more of a demo actually, and that sounded great. I love the sound of that. I've used that on many gigs, but compared to the Wampler, I found it didn't feel as natural. So I think the Wampler became my kind of go-to pedal. Plus also the Wampler, the Plexi Drive also goes, the gain, you can turn it down a bit more. It's more like kind of just pushing the amp, whereas the SL drive is a bit more hot rodded, which if you want, that's what you want, great. It is a fantastic pedal. So can the Plexi Drive do a kind of Hendrixy kind of sound? Can it compete with Uncle Jimmy? Well, obviously it depends on the player, but sound I thought was actually pretty good, especially when you're playing through a Strat. So for all you gear nerds out there, what am I using? I'm using my Exotic XSC2. That's one of the humbucker. That's basically a S-type guitar with a humbucker in the bridge. Going into the Plexi Drive, which is going into the TC Electronic Nova Delay. And then into... Oh, that's when I go to the Looper by TC Electronic as well, the Ditto Looper, just a single button one. And then I've put the reverb at the end, which is a TC Electronic Hall of Fame 2. I think I've just set that to a plate reverb. And then from there it's going into a Victory V45 into the clean channel. Although I'm not using the speaker on board, I've plugged it into my Hughes & Kettner cab, just because it's a 2x12 as opposed to a 1x12, so it's a lot beefier. Thank you. Select a nice doggy there. And just to be complete, I'm tuning with a TC Electronic Polytune. There's a lot of TC products I've got in that little list there. I think I might like them. I wonder, do I? So one testament to any piece of gear that you buy, any musical piece of gear, is that if it inspires you to play, then it's a good piece of gear. And even though I've had this pedal for a while, I found myself inspired. When I recorded the playing bits that you've been watching, they went for a while, and that's not just me trying to discover the parts. I just made everything that I've played was just all improvised at the time. I kind of nicked a couple of bits from some songs, but trying not to make it too rip-offy for copyright reasons. But everything I kind of came up with everything there and then, and I was just really getting into it. Even when I got the loops down, the solos went on forever because I was just getting into it, and I was really enjoying that sound, really enjoying that feel from the Plexi Drive. You can also get the Plexi Drive as a single pedal without the boost. I think it has everything else except that second, not channel, but the second switch. Let's talk about that second switch, which is, as I said earlier on, essentially a tube screamer going into your Marshall amp. It's all right. It works well when you are playing like heavier stuff and you're actually pushing the pedal. So when you've got it engaged with the main sound, it sounds fantastic. For that kind of heavier rock sound, yeah, it's great. For use on its own, to use it as a tube screamer, it's not that great in my opinion. It almost sounds like there's no cab. If you've ever heard that sound, the sound of an amp without the without the power section, not the cab, it sounds a bit shrill. So to use it on its own, just as a tube screamer, even pushing other pedals, not really feeling it, because it's only got one control. It's only got the like the volume control, the level control for that side, which I find is a little bit lacking in functionality. It's fine. I wouldn't necessarily change anything, but what I would like to have on there is a gain control. So you've got your volume and your gain. Maybe even make it a tiny little tube screamer. Have a little so you've got your level, have a gain control, and also have a tone control, which is basically what a tube screamer, the controls that a tube screamer has. Would that be asking too much? I don't know. So the boost side, in conjunction with the main side of the pedal, sounds fantastic. On its own, as a kind of light overdrive, edge of breakup, not really. It's a bit further than edge of breakup. It's been pushed over the edge. It's definitely into the kind of overdrive territory by that point. And I don't think on its own sounds that great, which is fine because it sounds great with the pedal itself, which is what it was designed for. It's starting to rain a little bit now. So that's my only gripe. Apart from that, it's a fantastic pedal. I really love playing through this pedal. It's my go-to gain amp. If I'm putting a pedal board together, that's kind of my go-to gainy sound, because I can turn the gain on the Plexi Drive quite low, so you get that kind of Hendrixy edge of breakup kind of sound, and then you can kind of boost it with the other side of the pedal. And obviously, if you want to turn it up a bit, you can turn the gain up, make it even gainier, which is great for if you're using two different types of guitars. If you've got something with humbuckers, which has more output, you can turn that gain right down. The amp will still push, but it won't sound too distorted. If you have a set of weaker pickups, maybe some single coils, there's a couple of things you can do. You can turn the gain up, but you can also turn the bass switch on, the extra bass, which I believe is meant to simulate a 4x12 cab. Starting to rain now. I bet you can't see the rain. Oh, what was that, crow? So let me know, is the Plexi Drive Deluxe something that you would go for? You're a Marshall sound kind of person? Let me know below if you have anything that you think is comparable to this. Better, worse, the same, cheaper. That's always an important factor. So if you enjoyed this video, if you can relate to any of it, please give this a thumbs up. If you know anyone who'd be interested, please share. And if you want to see more videos like this, more reviews, also more tutorials on how to play certain songs, then please consider subscribing. The Perfunctionist channel is still pretty young, and we're still trying to grow, so any subscriptions you give are very welcome and much appreciated. So apart from that, signing off from the woods. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you have a good day. I will see you in the next video. But until then, here's one last little bit of playing for you. Enjoy.